Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. Today it's just me and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So I know that we are a Disney channel and not a book channel, but you may or may not know this about me. I am a huge reader. I love books, I love stories, I love reading, and so I thought that today I would do a Disney themed summer reading guide to recommend some Disney books for you to read this summer. Okay, so the first book that I want to talk about is one of my favorite Disney books that I have read, like the straight from Disney, based on one of their movies books, and that is Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly. This was based on the 2017 Beauty and the Beast, and this book was magical, obviously. This is a book lover's dream. This follows Belle as she is in the Beast's castle between when she has been told she's gonna stay there forever and falls in love with him. It's in that in-between stage, and she has an adventure in the Beast's library, finding a magical book that transports her into the world of the story. The adventure begins from there. I loved this because we got some fluffy scenes of life in the castle as she's making friends with all of the enchanted objects, and also sort of becoming friends with the Beast, which I absolutely loved. And it's just beautiful. I mean, look at this. Look at it. It's so pretty. Okay, so there's that one. The next thing I want to recommend is just to pull out a book of fairy tales. This is the Barnes & Noble Classics edition of Hans Christian Andersen's classic fairy tales. Obviously, if you are a Disney lover, you probably know that a lot of the classic animated movies are based on fairy tales, and a lot of them are based on Andersen, a lot of them are based on the Grimm brothers, so just pull out a good old classic collection of some, fairy tales. This one's illustrated. Oh, I didn't know that. Ooh! Nice. I absolutely love fairy tales. I'm a huge fairy tale nerd, and I have really enjoyed going back and reading the original stories that the Disney films are based off of and kind of comparing and contrasting and seeing which one I prefer, and it's been a good time. So I highly recommend that. Plus, fairy tales are super short. They don't take much time. They're nice to read just on an afternoon you have free. Read a couple or just read one, and you can have a great time. So I recommend those. The next book, or rather books that I want to recommend, is actually something a little bit different, and these are comic books. This is the Figment collection, Figment line. I don't know comics very much, but these are the ones that Marvel put out a couple of years ago now. Obviously, I bought all 5 because I don't know if you guys know this about me. It's got Figment, Journey into Imagination with Figment.
Give us the twirl.
Look at the wings.
Yes!
Look at the wings. Woo!
Okay, I'm gonna stop saying yes now because it's probably getting annoying.
I'm a huge Figment fan, but I bought all these as they came out, and I also bought the second volume that they did. They do sell these in a bind-up hardcover now, and if I didn't already own these, I would definitely buy it because it's beautiful, but I already own these, so I couldn't really justify it to myself. But I really enjoyed these comics. These follow the Dreamfinder from the original ride. He's not there anymore, but they follow him becoming the Dreamfinder, him meeting and creating, being introduced to Figment, I don't know what you call it, but and then their adventures in the imagination world and stuff like that. These are so much fun. I absolutely love them, and I love the cover of this one because it's all music, and it's just they're wonderful. They're so interesting, they're so imaginative, and they can definitely occupy an afternoon, so I highly recommend those. The next book I want to talk about is actually not at all correlated with Disney. I know. This is actually correlated with DreamWorks, which I know a lot of Disney fans also love DreamWorks. I personally do. And that is The True Meaning of Smek Day by Adam Rex. This is the book that the DreamWorks film Home was based on. I read it last year. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I absolutely loved it. This is a middle grade sci-fi story that takes place as Earth is being invaded by aliens. We follow a girl named Tip who has an encounter with a rather hapless alien named J-Lo, and they set off on a countrywide quest to find Tip's mother, who has been abducted by the aliens. This is just so fun. It's so interesting. The world was fascinating, the way that Adam Rex wrote the invasion, and it was such a pleasant surprise. I had no idea I was going to love it as much as I did. I do love the film as well. It's one of the more underrated DreamWorks movies, in my opinion. And also the sequel, Smek for President, I also enjoyed. But I really highly recommend this book. Plus, for Disney fans, there is a sort of spoof on Disney World in this book while they're in Florida, which is on the spine. I don't know if you can see it from there, but called Happy Mouse Land, I think is what it's called. It was hysterical as someone who loves the Disney parks and has obviously been for all of my life. It was really funny. So this is just a fun little romp. It doesn't take very long. It reads really quickly, and it's a fun summer read, especially for a road trip, because it kind of centers around a road trip of sorts. And the last book I want to recommend is my all-time favorite classic and one of my all-time favorite books. I absolutely love this story, and that is Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. This I recently reread, and every time I read it, I just fall more and more in love with it. Obviously, Disney fans know the Disney films. The 2011 movie is probably one of my top 3 movies of all time, I would venture to say. And this story is just as wonderful and just as magical. So if you don't know the story of this book, we follow a stuffed bear named Pooh and his boy named Christopher Robin and all of their friends on their adventures in the 100-Acre Wood. And they do all sorts of things like an expedition to the North Pole, like finding Eeyore a tail, and getting Pooh out of a rather sticky situation. It's wonderful, it's magical. The House at Pooh Corner is the sequel, it's also great. And I just love this story, and I love these characters, and I have for a really long time. So if you have not read the original, I highly recommend it. It's also great as a read aloud. If you're on a family road trip, maybe pick this one up and read it in the car on the way. It's wonderful. I love this story so much. I can't get over it, guys. I just love Winnie the Pooh so much. Okay, I'm gonna move on now. But I really love this story. Okay, so there are 5 books that I recommend you read. Those are ones that I have read and I can vouch for. But I'm going to show you 5 books that I hope to get to this summer. Maybe, hopefully. Might be the end of the year, but I'm hoping I can push through. They're all pretty short. Well, I take that back. They're not all pretty short. But they're all Disney related, so here we go. The first one that I hope to get to is the Beauty and the Beast novelization by Elizabeth Rudnick. This is just the novelization of the 2017 movie. I got this at a secondhand bookstore because it's just beautiful, and I've been wanting to read this ever since, so I'm hoping I can just hunker down and read it. I just want to read it. I'm sure I will enjoy it because I love the movie and I love the story and I love the characters, and it's beautiful and it's nice and floppy. Like, I don't know if you guys are book people, but as a book person, a floppy paperback is just the best. And this one is definitely one of those. So I'm excited to pick this one up. The next book that I would like to get to this summer is The Weapon of a Jedi by Jason Fry, which is the Luke Skywalker book in the Journey to the Force Awakens kind of series companion thing they did when Force Awakens was coming out. I also have the Han Solo one, so maybe I'd like to try to get to both of these. I don't know. I've enjoyed the 2 of this series that I've read. I read the Leia one and then the Finn, Rey, and Poe one. But this is the Luke Skywalker one. I love Luke Skywalker, so I definitely need to get to this. Also, can we just for a second, can I get this off? But, okay, this is the coolest thing about these books. Are you ready? How cool is this, right? This is the coolest thing. It goes to the back. It's just, so cool. I really want to read this really soon, so hopefully I will get to this very soon. The next book I want to get to this summer is one that I'm actually already currently reading. Is Black Panther: The Young Prince by Ronald L. Smith. I'm already 67 pages in. And I've enjoyed it so far. I've just been distracted by other books, so I haven't really read any more of that. But we just rewatched Black Panther. If you haven't seen it, it's so good. You have to watch it. But this basically follows T'Challa as a 12-year-old sent from Wakanda because there's like a war brewing. So he's sent away from Wakanda by his father to America, to Chicago, just trying to make it in America. So I definitely need to read more of this, figure out where it's going. I am excited to get to this, and I will definitely be reading this one this summer. Yes. So, the next book this is the one I'm not sure I will make it through this summer. Maybe by the end of the year. I don't know. We'll see. But it's The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. This is... okay, every other book on this list is like super short. This one's over 500 pages. It's a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this, but I really want to read it because one of my friends recently read it and really, really loved it. And I love the movie and I love the musical. Oh my goodness. If you haven't listened to the original cast recording of the off-Broadway production, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, so that's definitely what I'm gonna be listening to when I read this. But I would really like to get to this. It's just a lot. So I don't know if I'm going to, but I would like to. Yes. And the last book I would like to get to this summer is a graphic novel, and that is The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. The graphic novel version. I've read and really, really loved the novel, and I want to reread it also this summer, but I really want to get to the graphic novel. Look how pretty. It's so cool. I'm so excited about this. If you haven't read the Kane Chronicles and you've read Percy Jackson, I really recommend the Kane Chronicles. They're so good. I just love Sadie and Carter's relationship. Their sibling relationship is just the best, and I really enjoyed getting to learn more about Egyptian mythology because I really didn't know that much about it. That's my favorite thing about the series, honestly. So yeah, because this is a graphic novel, I'm sure I will just fly right through it, and I'm excited to get to it and see it come to life on the pages, more so than in my imagination. So yeah, this is definitely one that I'm looking forward to. Alright, so that is it for my video of books that I recommend you check out this summer. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. If you like bookish videos, if you want to see more of this type of thing, me just talking about books, I am totally up for that. I would love to. I love talking about books and what I'm reading, or I can talk about Disney books, or I can talk about books that Disney movies are based on, because I'd kind of like to read a lot more of those. So maybe, if that's something that interests you, let me know in the comments, and I will see if I can get some more of those. Yeah, so that is all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe down below for more Disney magic, and we will see you later. Bye! How I say this is by someone. Who is this by? Okay. Winnie the Pooh's trying to attack my face. Does that say something about this situation? Hey, oh, I forgot to show you my shirt. Look, it says Belle's Book Club. Yeah! Where's the there it is. Yeah!